Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and I thought I would jump on and channel into the Divine Masculine Collective. But before jumping in with the cards, I kind of want to talk about the energy and this big warning that's kind of coming through. So I was very much invested in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. I am very much pleased with the verdict that was handed out, and you know, the balancing of those cosmic scales. So I kind of feel that's kind of where we're at on the twin flame journey right now. There's a lot of verdicts being handed out when it comes to some karmic repercussions. What I feel is this full disclosure, cosmic disclosure, is the energy that's kind of coming through, and it's a big warning to all. So you know, a lot of us on this journey, a lot of the divine feminines, we get slandered, we get bullied, we get gossiped about, the karmics lie about us, maliciously and intentionally try to damage our reputation. And I feel the big message coming through is everybody is going to be held accountable for those damages. Big karmic repercussions is what's coming through, because a lot of these karmics have done so much unspeakable harm to the divine feminine, to the people that the divine feminine loves. And it is this energy of these karmics getting served exactly what it is that they deserve. And I really want to stress the importance of the divine feminine sharing their story. This is what we came for. The word wants to be written. Our truth needs to be spoken about when it comes to these very distorted karmic contracts. A lot of these masculines play in to the lies, the slander, the gossip, the defamation of character. I myself was a victim of these very unspeakable crimes. About a year ago on my birthday, I had the karmic entity. I'm sure she was playing along with her whole group of feminine friends in all of this destruction. But on my birthday of all days, she called Child Protective Services against me with a whole bunch of lies, a whole bunch of slander, and the damage that was done from that malicious action really took a big toll, not only on myself, but that negatively affected my oldest daughter on the journey. My oldest daughter just turned 11 last November, and after that incident in April, it caused my daughter to go into a deep, dark depression for several months, to the point where she was cutting herself at one point in time. Thankfully, Child Protective Services was able to get my daughter into some crisis counseling, and all of those allegations were proven to be false. But I feel this is a big warning. Our judicial system needs an overhaul big time, especially when it comes to these anonymous phone calls where people are reporting parents for saying that they're abusing their children, neglecting their children. I was accused of doing drugs, all kinds of nasty things that were very much untrue. I don't think people realize the trauma and the damage lies, slandering, bullying, and gossip can do to somebody's reputation, can do to their self-esteem, how much damage it can do to that entire family structure. And so I feel this cosmic disclosure is kind of what's coming through, and what a big win for anybody that has ever gone through a domestic violence of any sort, whether it's emotional abuse, financial abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. These are all very real things that many of us deal with on the spiritual journey. Because we are empathic, we are met with every range of narcissistic entity that you can think of. I have gone through many traumatic events in my life that have changed me. I look back and I have no regrets about anything that I've had to endure or go through, because everything that I've gone through up until this very point has gotten me here talking to you, and it's really given me the strength to overcome any fears about speaking my truth, sharing my story, because a lot of these karmics are very much abusive towards the divine masculines. I feel it's just like a big warning. I think a lot of these masculines go into these karmic contracts. They are verbally abused. They are gaslit. They are belittled. They are financially abused. And not only that, the karmics caused so much damage towards the divine feminine that it creates this energy of the masculine feeling like, how the hell do I come back from this? And it feeds the fear. And so I feel the verdict that was kind of handed out yesterday is a win for everybody that has ever experienced any type of abuse. And this is what we did come here for. So I feel the energy is feeling very dense, very intense, especially with these influencing energies of Saturn about to go retrograde. Saturn is all about structure, order, loyalty, commitment. And I feel wherever these masculines have avoided responsibility for these awful, awful actions of the karmic contracts, I feel they're going to have to face these issues once and for all when it comes to bringing resolution. I feel a lot of these masculines have been playing the blame game. They've been playing into selfish ego desires, lack of responsibility, lack of control in their lives. And there's a lot of karma that was caused during this separation that we have gone through. And Saturn is kind of demanding that this reach resolution once and for all. So many of the divine feminines have reached this place of inner resolution, inner revolution, and inner union. And so this is forcing this outer situation to come up very intensely to be addressed once and for all. So I feel, you know, a lot of the masculines have this very skewed perception. And as Saturn turns retrograde, this is going to bring forward a major wake-up call is kind of what I'm feeling. So what I was shown is like a lot of the masculines, all they see are problems, challenges, issues. A lot of the masculines are getting pummeled in the energies in order to get them to look at this in a whole different view. And so for my own journey, when I met my counterpart, I'm 42 now. It was just prior to my 38th birthday. So it was all the way back in 2018, the spring of 2018, we met. Little beknownst to me, a friend of mine that works at my children's school as a daycare provider. She was my oldest daughter's daycare provider for the before and after school program, because back then I worked as an office assistant at an office locally in town here. And where I'm at, the karmic webbing in this connection is so very intricate. I live in a tight-knit, small-knit community. And the karmic webbing was so intense. So there was a lot of entanglement with my own personal journey. It's been very public. I've been publicly sharing my story since the fall of 2019. And I think as I was starting to gain all of these followers on Facebook and I was doing very well, that is what triggered the karmic entity to lash out at me, to try and silence me, and to try to basically embarrass me, humiliate me, and kind of take me down. Well, let me tell you, it didn't work. It only made me stronger, and I'm so thankful that it got my daughter the help that she needed. She's actually just about rounding completion of all of her therapy that she's been in, and since that incident, she's got her last appointment coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm so thankful that my voice was heard and all of those accusations were proven to be false, and I was able to get my daughter the therapy that she needed. So I just feel like there's this big looking back at just how explosive and blown out of proportion that karmic made everything when it comes to this journey. And I feel if the masculine wants anything to work out in his life, if he wants to move forward, he's going to have to come and bring forward that complete and total disclosure towards the feminine, or he's going to keep being served all of this negative karma. And unfortunately, there was confirmation for my own journey of some harsh karma being dished out a few weeks ago. I briefly mentioned it in a daily message. the karmic's best friend's daughter was tragically killed in a single vehicle car accident a few weeks ago. And I know those women were all in cahoots when it comes to trying to completely destroy me and the life that I was building for myself, purely out of envy and jealousy. And both of these women at one point in time were friends of mine, or what I would have considered a friend. And I just can't understand for the life of me why the malicious intent to try to tear two people apart that were crazy about each other, to lie about somebody that you had no business lying about. And this is where the masculine went into this very toxic connection for my own journey. So I know there's a lot of similar aspects when it comes to the twin flame collective. Although we all have our own individual karmic soul contracts to fulfill and to clear, linked to past life baggage. And so, you know, there's journeys that differ, and depending on your north node and your karmic pathway and your calling this life, it's all going to depend on, you know, the type of separation and the type of karmic connections that kind of come between the twins. And so it's been a very complex connection. It's been an uphill battle for me since 2019. And, you know, it was all entangled, even when it comes to my karmic catalyst and everybody, you know, that he's connected with, the entanglement and the people that I've called in, we're all connected. We all know each other in this city that I live in. So it's become very well known. I know there's been a lot of gossip behind the scenes. I don't play into that. Gossip is very low vibration. You know, what you see is what you get with me. I'm a straight shooter with my Mercury and Aries. I really detest liars, I detest cheaters, and I detest thieves. Those are three big things that really get my blood boiling when it comes to humanity and people just not coming from a place of accountability and integrity. That's the one thing I demand out of everybody that is a part of my life as a close connection is you better walk through that door authentic. You better come through that door with the truth. And if you can't sit at my table and be honest and open, then you're not going to have a seat at my table and you're not going to be welcome in my home. And so that's a boundary for me. And this is why I have like enough friends that I can count on, you know, one hand that I would have into my home that are welcome here any given time, you know. So I just feel truth is a big thing coming up. Like, what is so hard about being honest, being accountable, and being truthful? Because I'm a very fair person. My Black Moon Lilith is in Libra. I'm very fair. I will hear anybody out, and I'm all about second chances, giving people the benefit of the doubt. But I will not tolerate a lack of accountability, a lack of responsibility. And so I'm sitting here where I'm at in my journey and I'm like, where do I go from here? There has been like zero accountability, zero communication. What little communication I've had throughout the years has been very sporadic. My counterpart has blocked me on all avenues. I actually got a new phone about a year ago. A year ago when all of that went down, it created like this very intense PTSD breakdown. I was traumatized. It was like reliving everything all over again. And it deeply affected my kids. And so everything I do has been for justice for my kids. And I just feel like the way the world is going, this is part of our mission. We're here to make the world a better place for all of these children. Many of us are mothers. Many of us have children. And, you know, this is not the world that I want my children to grow up in. And this is why I do what I do. And I teach my children to be accountable and to be fair and to be just. And, you know, we all make mistakes. We all screw up. I've not lived a perfect life by any means. I have not been perfect. I have made all kinds of mistakes. I have made some very poor decisions, but I've also been accountable for everything that I've chosen to do this life. You know, I'm owning it. I put it out there. And so that is a really good aspect to hold on to if you really want to clear some karma. It is about owning it, sharing your story, speaking your truth, owning your part, being accountable, and, you know, instilling those positive changes to not keep repeating these negative cycles over and over again. And so, you know, I look back on this journey, and in the beginning, this person mirrored back to me this deep unconditional love. It was the first time I ever was in the presence of a man and I felt 100% authentically me until all of the karma kind of come in, okay? And then all of the karmic baggage kind of seeped in and the fear seeped in, and my ex started coming back around, wanting to be a dad finally, wanting to do things with the kids and prove he was in it. He didn't want nothing to do with me until the counterpart came in the picture. And so I was kind of put in this rock in this hard place. I was so torn. I was so confused between my comfort zone, my karmic, the father of my youngest daughter, and my oldest daughter at that point had called that man dad. And that was a big, big thing for me. I'm like, if you're taking on the word dad, like that's for life, dude. And, you know, blood or not, this girl calls you dad. And my oldest daughter never had her father around from the beginning, from my pregnancy. And so, you know, I always refer to the girl's dad as that one person. That was both of their fathers, right? And so, like, it was a very toxic relationship. I still have a little bit of love for the man. Of course, I have love for the man. He birthed, like, he was the father of my children. I birthed his daughter. But it was like a very unhealthy relationship. I'm blessed beyond blessings to have my little Savannah, my Savvy the Savage is what I call her. She's a lot of work, but hey, we've got a lot of family karma that we came here to clear. And, you know, my karmic ex too, like, he went through all kinds of traumatic things as a child. And, you know, I think that was like the instant connection, like this trauma bond, because we had similar backgrounds, similar stories. And when I look back at it, I do have to say that man got me through the dark night of the soul. He got me through the darkest of my days. And I look back and he was my best friend at a certain point in time. And then when we separated, like, he's really not been a part of the girls' lives. So all of this trauma piled up, and then you throw the counterpart in with all of these malicious women that have been out to kind of slander, gossip, and bring me down and lie about me. And for my counterpart to never be accountable and stand up for this connection and to come forward with that truth has been another deep-seated hurt that I've had to really work through over the years. And I don't know that that's a pain that ever fully goes away. You kind of just learn to live with it, to live with this person constantly in your head, constantly in your heart, constantly in your energy field. Like, we're talking like 4 years later from our first meeting, and this person just, it's just there. It doesn't go away. And I've never ever dated anybody where I've not been able to just move on. There's just this energy of I cannot move on. And I've tried to date, I've tried to move on, and I'm just like energetically blocked. So you know what I do? I just keep loving myself. I keep focusing on my kids, building my foundation, building my home, you know, embracing life to the fullest in every moment, and knowing that this person is always with me energetically. And I think a lot of the feminines are at this point. At what point does the change happen? Was I the only one that experienced this telepathic connection, this higher connection? Was I the only one that was transmitting their thoughts, their emotions, their feelings, and living this twin flame journey? Or did they live it too? Because there's never been a conversation about that. So I feel with Saturn going retrograde, Mercury going direct, we've got this window of opportunity to actually sit and have that conversation. And actually, as I say that, I'm experiencing all kinds of anxiety, almost as if that's the energy of the masculine. There's so much anxiety and fear about facing you face to face because of all of the karmic damage that was done, and maybe not being able to find the right words to say. There's a lot of fear attached to that. And throughout the last several years, there have been a couple of fated meetings with my counterpart out where we go camping at the lake. there was a fated meeting a couple of summers ago around the Lionsgate portal. And I actually was at the beach with my kids and bumped into another school dad at that fated meeting at the beach. And all of our kids had gone to school together, and I remembered this man's face. Most gorgeous smile I'd ever seen. Just a beautiful person, and I'm so glad that he was there at the beach. But it was like this fated meeting, and it felt really good to have somebody familiar that remembered the moment I was going through ascension. There was a lot that clicked. And for some reason, we walked down the pier, and there was my counterpart right there. And if it wasn't for this fated soulmate coming along on the beach that day, I don't know how I would have survived the soul shock of that that closeness. That's the closest I've been to my counterpart since separation began, and we were still several feet away, and it was just like total soul shock. I started shaking, trembling, almost dropped to my knees. And that's what it's been like, even in passing in vehicles. Every now and then we'll do like a drive-by, almost as if to say, hey, I know you're thinking about me, I'm thinking about you. And it'll be a quick like energy exchange is kind of what I feel. There was another moment, there was a close exchange around Christmas time. Was it last year? I'm not sure. But I went to go to A&W to get a burger through the drive-thru, and I'm not a big meat eater at all. I really don't eat meat. And I shit you not, there's my counterpart working in the parking lot, like for his construction company. An instant like soul shock again. And so there's been a couple drive-bys over the last 6 months or so, maybe one or two. I've really not seen my counterpart in a very long time. Not close up or anything like that. Once in a while, I get some people that'll send me some screenshots of his Facebook or whatever, and there's been like no energy exchange the last couple of like passing bys. And so I feel a lot has been neutralizing, but there's still that last little piece of that face-to-face conversation, that being held accountable when it comes to these karmic repercussions. And I feel a big part of it, I wrote about it. Well, how I journal is I sit at my computer with my coffee in the morning and I talk to text in a Word document. But I feel a lot of these masculines go into these very unhealthy, codependent relationships as a form to mask the pain. A lot of these masculines don't feel worthy of the divine feminine's love. And they go into these very unhealthy and dysfunctional relationships because they don't know how to effectively communicate is another big problem. Or they're afraid. They're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being abandoned. And so this creates this energy of them not being able to make decisions because they create all of this doubt, and they feel like if they make that decision, it's going to be the wrong decision. And they have very low self-esteem. And so they go into these karmic connections because the karmic feeds their ego, because she's got low self-esteem too. And then what happens is you get stuck in these karmic relationships and you can't reach any goals. You don't have any life outside of this relationship. There's zero boundaries. There's zero respect. And there's zero responsibility for emotions or feelings. And so I feel this has created this level of disillusionment for many of the masculines on the journey, where they don't know how to distinguish between who they are, who the karmic is, who the feminine is, and they feel this deep obligation to the karmic because of family responsibility, because usually the karmic's connected to the masculine social circle or the family somehow. And so they prioritize this dysfunction to meet all of these people's needs or to please society. And then it creates this very unhealthy dynamic. And, you know, usually one's the giver, one's the taker. And I feel a lot of the karmics take. And they emotionally blackmail to keep the masculine there. And they use their feelings and their emotions to you know, gain a sense of pity. And I feel all of that's rearing its ugly head, because these divine unions, we're here to embrace our own uniqueness, our own independence, and to build those healthy interdependent connections. So, you know, I remember one time too, I had a local school mom come for a reading a long time ago. And she was scrolling Facebook, and I seen the karmic post one on her birthday a couple years back. she made a post about how my divine masculine was the love of her life, and she just couldn't imagine living without him, that he made her feel complete, that was her missing piece. And in these interdependent, healthy relationships, we don't need the other person. Nothing outside of you is going to give you that sense of wholeness. Nothing completes you. Even your twin isn't going to complete you. It is a process of, self-wholeness, self-integration, inner union, and that's what creates the shift when it comes to this karmic rebalancing. So, when it comes to these divine unions, instead of needing each other and basing our happiness off of this one person, it's like this free will choice to be together with mutual respect, understanding, and compassion, and choosing to every day create that healthy space of vulnerability, honesty, accountability, healthy communication, and healthy boundaries. When we are interdependent in our relationships, we recognize the value of that deep spiritual, emotional bond that we share with our counterpart. And we believe in the other person wholeheartedly, because each of us are going to have that very strong sense of self. And nothing is ever going to pull us away from who we are. We're not going to get lost in this relationship and kind of mold with that person. So I feel the masculine's been facing a lot of restrictions. He's having a hard time managing his thought processes. He is trying to find his self-esteem to regain control, is what I feel is happening, to step into freedom. But I feel all of these other relationships connected to the masculine and the karmic have had a very toxic hold on the masculine when it comes to coming forward and bringing that mutual respect to the divine feminine face to face. And I feel we're reaching this point of needing to accept this truth, to accept this love, and to embrace who we truly are wholeheartedly, to love and accept ourselves while simultaneously loving and accepting and forgiving the masculine. So I kind of feel there's going to be a moment coming up here over the next 4-month period with many of the twins where we do establish that connection again, and where we do have that very clear, open, honest conversation with very healthy, effective communication. And I also feel this is where the masculine is really being asked to take personal responsibility for his own emotions and for his own actions, and to stand up and say no to those karmic contracts once and for all. Because the feminine, I feel, has reached this place of feeling free to express her authentic self. And so I feel it's a big shift when it comes to social circles right now, and we're really weighing the scales when it comes to like limited love versus limitless love. And so there's a lot of energy coming up where we're all being asked to really love ourselves. We can truly love ourselves and another person at the same time. There is this authentic love that the counterparts do share, regardless of all of the karmic obstacles, regardless of all of the disagreements or 3D circumstances. There really is unconditional love between the twins. And so all of these fears that the masculine has been trying to ignore when it comes to needing that incredible amount of courage to come forward and be honest, I feel it can no longer be ignored. The masculine is asking to learn some new patterns, to come forward and make time for that communication, and to be responsible for all of what's kind of transpired throughout the first meeting up until this part of the journey, and to create that safe place for that vulnerable communication. So I think approaching is an energy, trying to approach and really not keeping any of his parts of self hidden from the feminine anymore, because let's face it, we see right through them anyway, and I think that's what scares them the most. So I feel the masculine is really trying to gain a sense of self-worth right now. I do feel there's recently been an abandonment, or he's alone, or that karmic relationship really has broke down, and I feel like he's in this energy of self-pity, wanting to be rescued, needing to kind of get control of his life and rescue himself, kind of like the feminine had to. So there's a lot going on in the energies that I really wanted to talk about. I do want to pull in with some cards. And I think I'm going to grab, the Kipper deck and the Gilded Lenormand Reverie deck to start. Oh, look at that, bottom of the deck. We got the dog. So that's like loyalty. Coming back with loyalty is what I'm feeling, because I do feel there's been a recent illumination or an activation of some sort. You know, a new beginning here coming in, yeah, with that apology and that offer perhaps. And I feel like really following the compass of the heart, a 16. So it's like a tower energy with the 6 of hearts. There's a lot of past life memories coming up. And if you notice on the compass, it has like all of the zodiac signs. So something coming full circle. We are closing out the age of Aquarius. So, you know, Pisces is the last of the 12 signs. So closing something big out. A lot of past memories, a lot of past life karma coming up to be cleared in that crossroads energy of, you know, choosing these divine unions. Wow. So let's see. Yeah, so we got the compass come out again. And so this is the other compass. So 42-6, that's interesting. My twin is 42, gonna turn 43 on the 13th of July. And I just turned 42, and then we got 35, and the karmic, she's about 7 years younger than my counterpart, 6 years younger than me. So it was around that age of 35 where a lot of this started playing out for the karmic too. And I feel like that's like a sinking ship. That compass led the masculine astray, and I feel like a sinking ship. And look at that life force activation and harvest energy. And then there's that like rebirth. So I do feel a recent activation when it comes to the masculine tapping into that inner child healing. A lot of spiritual connection I feel recently has been activated in the masculine's life when it comes to bringing forward an offer of some sort. Oh wow, we got the younger man with the ring. And we got the dandelion card of 2, which is like, you know, that's my daughter Savvy's all like, oh, look at mom, it's a wish flower, a make-a-wish flower. So I feel the masculine's really looking into the fine details about how to come forward with a proposal or an offer, quite even possibly an engagement ring, but definitely seeing you as the person he's ready to commit to. And there is, without a doubt, a lot of gossip. A lot of gossip going on, a lot of people chirping, talking behind the scenes, and there's like a big storm brewing, and it's going to bring a lot of illumination, because see, for me, this is like his spiritual team. So we've got like the guides chirping in the masculine's ear in his head, and it's in reverse. He's ignored this higher calling. He has been receiving the intuitive hits, and he's been blatantly ignoring this. And there's going to be a message sent. We're going to have to open up that book. We're going to have that conversation. So I feel the masculine's been in some Akashic memory recall is what I'm feeling, a lot of soul retrieval. And I do feel a lot of the masculines have been thinking about what to say, writing about what to say, or maybe typing out a big long text and then erasing it and not sending it, playing into the fear. So there is going to be like this revival energy, and I do feel this rising, and there's a lot of inner child healing taking place. So yeah, that's that karma, that's that karmic soul contract. So it's almost like a lot of these masculines are imprisoned in that karmic soul contract, taking a vow of silence until that cycle completely closes out, to effectively close out these cycles, to embrace these changes once and for all, these positive changes. And so yes, I do think you're going to be receiving a message when it comes to breaking out of that karmic entanglement, that imprisonment. I feel, you know, a lot of rats have been exposed in the masculine's life recently, and there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of gossip is what I'm thinking. Yeah, oh yeah, a lot of family gossip, but I also feel it's kind of time to have that conversation in the family room at the table, because the feminine holds the key to this unlimited abundance. So there is going to be that conversation with the privileged lady, the divine feminine. Yeah, there will be a conversation likely at your house. Maybe the masculine too has recently lost a job and is experiencing poverty due to the thieving with the karmic, and there's that energy of get ready to receive a message. I feel this is the doorway opportunity to begin speaking about this resolution coming up here this weekend. So let's keep going. Yeah, the masculine's definitely moving. Was recently thrown out, packed up and moved. One of them is moving. I don't think they're living together. If they are, somebody will be moving very soon because we're going towards our hopes and our wishes. The masculine is going towards his hopes and his wishes because that karmic contract is a sinking ship. Everything is going to, it's like shit in the bed is what I want to say. It's shit in the bed. And so I kind of feel the masculine is really hoping that you will show him some compassion. That landed right on the occupation and poverty with the thief. So I do feel the masculine wants to come in with a solid offer, but many of these masculines are hitting that 0 point, that bottoming out, that clean slate, and they won't have a lot to offer, but that truth. So I also feel he's ready to stop withholding communication. He's ready to stop withholding these emotions and to seize this opportunity. That just flipped out on, the looking a little bit deeper into his wishes. He wants to seize this opportunity. And so I feel when it comes to marriage, and so that's two indications of a ring and that conversation, right, about the loss of the intimacy that the two of you shared. So deep, intimate, authentic conversation coming up here, I feel. So I think we're all kind of feeling the intensity of this energy. So you're going to want to get grounded. You're going to want to get prepared. You're going to want to go into meditation because the masculine's coming back. It's not over. What he walked away from, he's walking right towards again to balance this situation and to spend some time together because he is deeply drawn to you at this time, wanting to fix what's broken. He wants to bring healing, but there's what he's afraid of. Accusation. Look at that. And the birthday. So for my own journey, that's a big message. I think there's been a lot of arguing, a lot of accusations about the damage that was done on my birthday a year ago, and there's been a huge closing of a karmic lesson. So that's not going to be for everybody, but I think maybe by the next holiday, or if your birthday's coming up, there's going to be a moment of conversation when it comes to this lesson being learned and coming in loyal, taking a risk in order to finally close out these cycles. So I do believe, get ready to receive a message or something of that sort coming right up here. So look at that. By the moon, by the Sagittarius full moon, perhaps. There was definitely a big shift after that Gemini moon. And I feel there's definitely been something hidden when it comes to the karmic blocking, these unions. So I feel there's been a recent exposure. And the masculine's deep in some shadow aspects right now. Pisces energy, I feel purging a lot of emotions in order to receive that clarity, to break free from that illusion. Yeah, and the masculine's dealing with all kinds of chaos and conflict and drama and gossip and all kinds of craziness when it comes to closing out those karmic contracts. So we'll see what else needs to come through for the divine masculine. Beautiful. Oh my God, we did get the Fool with the Chariot and the Four of Wands. There's that doorway opportunity opening up. So I think this is going to happen very quickly. There's a major karmic rebalancing, cosmic disclosure, and there's that rock bottom. I don't even think I need to pull any more cards. Wow. And we get the World. So basically, all major arcana, clear indication of the doorway of these unions is commencing now, and it's going to require communication. It's going to require action, the masculine taking action. I feel a major wake-up call. That's that Uranus energy. And then we get the Cancer energy, getting in touch with his emotions, gathering his emotions, taking back control of his life, getting in the driver's seat and coming in. He's feeling like a sacred clown, a sacred fool, and he does want to come in and bring justice. He's definitely hitting that bottoming out. Everything, all the burdens that the feminine had to carry in the beginning is now been placed onto the masculine in order for this rebalancing and this truth to be exposed, because this is big time karma getting closed out when it comes to manipulation, abuse of any kind. In order to finally go through this period of healing, there's without a doubt a rebalancing. And I do feel the challenge right now is the masculine coming out of hermit mode with the Six of Pentacles and the Hermit reversed. So when Mercury goes direct in the sign of Taurus, there will be a coming out of the closet, or an exposure, or a coming out to have that conversation about these past manipulations, because the divine is kind of saying, green light, go. The time is now to take that step towards this commitment, towards this union. And, you know, many of us, we've prayed a very long time for this rebalancing. We've prayed many nights, cried many times over, many tears have been shed during this separation. And I do feel the time is now for action. So we'll get a couple last crystal stone deck messages. Deepen your perspective. So that blue kyanite, I love that stone. So I feel a lot of heady vibes when it comes to mindfully making this decision. So I feel this perpetual restlessness surrounding the masculine is really getting him to go deep. It's basically the energy of, you know, bearing the cross, being taken to the altar of God for that judgment energy, because he's drowning in the mental noise when it comes to the lack of communication. And I feel realignment is definitely around the corner, breaking free from that mental prison. So the Orion starseed come out, and so a lot of the twins' original starseed origin is Orion, the masters of duality. So a lot of us are coming into these ancient Egyptian timelines, ancient Egyptian gifts, and it's like this all hail energy when it comes to the rise of the masculine is what they want me to say. And releasing all of these burdens, especially any resentment. So I feel the masculine's about to get blasted into his journey, initiated, like launching into this initiation, because this gravity, this dense gravity is feeling very extra heavy. And so it's kind of time to initiate this expansion and the next part of the mission of the journey is what I'm feeling. And then I do feel a lot of the masculines are feeling all of their feels with that opal. So I've noticed I've been extra thirsty lately, so you're going to want to stay well hydrated, Divine Feminine, over the next couple days as we kind of go into these higher activations with our light body. And the energies can be extra sensitive. A lot of sensations will feel the alchemical sensations of the union taking place, even if you're not right beside your counterpart. And I feel we're getting ready to reach that common ground is what's coming through. Something needs to get moving. We are stepping into the next project, the next phase of these relationships. We're kind of being asked to release these energetic blocks once and for all. And it is this fire, rebirth by fire energy, a lot of fire burning of the karma, all of these lower vibes. And I've been noticing a lot of lower abdomen clearing when it comes to the sacral chakra, a lot of mild to intense and uncomfortable sacral chakra pain in my back area. So huge emotional purging. That's where we store a lot of our emotional baggage, in the sacral. So huge clearing within the heart and within the sacral is kind of what I'm feeling. So I feel right now a lot of the Divine Feminines are being asked to protect their light, protect your light, encase yourself in that protective bubble, because there's a lot of crazy shit going down in the masculine's life. I feel his reputation is crumbling, and if he wants to rebuild that reputation, I feel he's going to have those very firm boundaries, and you're going to need the energetic boundaries, because a lot of, you know, people get triggered and bad juju gets thrown at the divine feminine. So you're going to have those very strong protective energetic boundaries in place when it comes to all of the emotional vampires that are trying to siphon your energy through their connection to the divine masculine. So I feel we are preparing for these unions, and the masculine is preparing to give back. So pay attention. A lot of us have come into our supernatural foresight, our third eye foresight, and we've seen a lot of this coming. So we need to stay grounded while the masculine gets a grip on all of this chaos and all of this conflict in the energies. So that was my check-in, guys. I really hope this helped you out. If you would like to book a twin soul reading with me, please feel free to check out that description box below, guys. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.